Good evening. I am Brooke Woodley. I will be presenting on the Analyze and Improve phase for my course project on saving money. So the course of my presentation, I want to recap the define and measure phase, review the goals that were set, and lastly, look at the results from the Analyze and Improve phase. So the course project began with a problem. The problem that I identified for my household was saving money. It came about because I noticed there was an increase in the amount of money we were spending monthly, but there were no new additions such as bills or added expenses. In fact, we had lost a bill due to daycare, and so therefore this really made no sense. So in the define phase, I stated my problem as monthly spending on a steady incline, and that my goal would be to reduce that monthly spending by $50 or 5%. In the analyze phase, we looked at the input and the output, meaning our monthly income versus our monthly amount that we're going out. I broke this down into categories and amounts so that we can have a clear idea of what we were spending where. In the improve phase, I took that information from the analyze phase to further manage that spending activity and to exercise a planned spending approach, with the intent being to successfully eliminate some of the unnecessary spending. We'll look more into the analyze phase in the next few slides. The goal for the analyze phase was to manage my spending and to take more of a planned spending approach. The pie chart was used to identify the outputs on a monthly basis based on the inputs or our monthly income. We identified that the biggest pieces of the pie belong to set spending or uncontrolled spending categories, such as the house payment, utilities, and car payment. These items are set in our opinion, because we're not willing to go out and get a new place to live or a new car at this time. So we consider these items to be set spending items and that are not able to be altered at this time. The last three categories, which are pretty similar in percent spending, we consider our controlled spending categories. Miscellaneous will cover things such as entertainment, or anything that would be unforeseen expense. We also have our food and our gas categories. The last three again are our controlled spending categories, and those are the areas that I use further in the improve and analyze phase. Again, the controlled spending categories are pretty equal, but we also feel like they could be further controlled. The food category, we include both our groceries and our fast food, lunches, or any type of food spending. We believe that area has a lot of room for growth, considering we will often go grocery shopping and include meals for an entire week. We will turn around in that same week and decide not to cook one of those meals that were already purchased and planned, and instead we will go get fast food. So again, that's just an example of an area that we feel that we could further control. The gas category, it was an area that we had never really tracked before, and I was honestly surprised at the amount of gas. usage between the two vehicles. The miscellaneous category is one that I suck a lot of things in based on the fact that I was not keeping track of things really closely, but I knew of a few events or purchases that I had made, and so I threw them in that category. So the miscellaneous area I know will fluctuate monthly, but I believe that if we take more of a planned approach to that category, we could further trim or identify some things that maybe don't need to be purchased at that time. In the analyze and measure phase, I incorporated a couple of new tools in order to help me achieve my goal. I utilized my online banking and a virtual wallet app. Both help me with the planned spending as well as managing the spending right at my fingertip. So the next two slides are screenshots to show you how those tools look with all of my data, with all of my information. I found them to be extremely helpful to me. On the managed spending side, I'm able to get access to those transactions right away at my fingertip, right on my app. And then it's showing me what I'm spending, and I get alerts if I want to set a dollar figure for the day or even for the month, then I can get alerts to tell me that I'm close to that. So it's more of managing that spending, where the planned spending is more of a budget or something where I can plan out what amounts I'm going to, delegate to each area, and then I can just stick to that. And it's more of a budget approach versus the managing the day-to-day spending. It also shows me a nice breakdown. I mean, I could pull a report any way I want to see. If I just want to see how much we're spending in the area of those miscellaneous or controlled buckets, which are the buckets that I'm focusing on. If I just want to see that information at my fingertip, it's a really cool tool, and it helps me to keep it at the forefront of my day. So I'm making an effort before swiping or before making withdrawals. So here's an example of how I utilize my online banking to help me with my spending. I plan it out for the entire month so I can log all the accounts or bills with the amounts and on the day that I want to issue that payment. I also have the ability to log daily activity. At the end of each day, I can look at what exactly did I do that day as far as transactions. If I were to, add something that's not planned on this calendar, then it will also log that and let me know. So when I look back on the month, I can see, those days where maybe we did hit a couple drive-throughs, and then I can help to put a further plan in action to eliminate some of those things as well. On this second screenshot, you're able to see how successful I was in November. I took the screenshot today after 6 p.m., so all of the spending for the month is complete. And as you can see, my spending was lower in all categories compared to that of October. The first set of graphs show an overall breakdown of bank transactions across the board. All of the activities are captured here, including swiping the debit card or cash withdrawals or writing a check. Anything that comes through this account is then logged. In November, I controlled my spending much, much, much better. I planned my spending amount and stuck to those plans and used the tools before making those purchases, and it was truly a success. The middle and the last graphs show categories of spending. So I'm just showing you how I have the flexibility to choose just the bills and utilities versus the groceries or a whole transaction portfolio or a full view. So these are the type of options that I have. Now, I was not really keeping track in the months before October and November utilizing this tool. However, it was able to compile some transactions that were there. And so the September category may not be completely accurate because I didn't have it separated out into the categories like I do now. So October and November are the two graphs that we're focusing on, but I thought it would be neat to just kind of give September, throw September in there to give it a 3-month span. In the analyze and improve phase, I was able to reach my goal of reducing my monthly spending by 5%. I also believe that I have the tools in place and I'm on the right track to make this a lifestyle change and not just something that I'm doing for my project. I'm really excited to see how I can recover and to be able to do some things like in the 21st century. So I'm able to take care of bills now and know that they're going out at a set amount of time. There's no more sitting down, writing checks to everybody and balancing a checkbook, because that's just obviously not my thing and why I got myself into this situation in the first place. So I really like the mobile, and I like the tools, and I like, the planned spending. I am not so much of a budgeter, but I find that the tools help me develop something that I don't have to really look at as more of a budget, but it's more of a proactive approach instead of being a reactive person to dealing with, oh no, I've overspent, or exactly where did my money go. At this time, I'm really excited about what I've been able to accomplish with this project, and I just hope to see further improvement and of course, gain some money back into our household. I have so many more tools that I did try out through the course of the analyze and improve phase. However, it just wasn't enough data to really show the picture as well as the last two screenshots. Thank you for listening to my presentation, and I will again continue to move forward with my managed spending and planned spending approach. I hope to continue to identify areas where I can save money. Thank you.